Hey there everyone, my name's Yuki, but you can call me Layla, and today I'll be here demonstrating it for you at Fast today, Celeste, the Celeste True Ending Run, and so I'm very excited to be here. I've got my good friend Carrarium, or Carrie, here, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, everybody. I am Carrarium. People know me more casually as Carrie, and I am a fellow Celeste speedrunner and a very good friend of Ukulele, and I'm very happy to be here and commentating this run. I love this category a lot.
Yeah, this category is rather long. It's got some interesting movement in it, and I'm very excited to start it and show off just the entire run real quick. Well, as fast as I can. At the beginning, there'll be a lot of downtime, so we can probably just explain the basic tech, but that will be more understood later on in the run. But so far, I think that's all the introduction that we need. I guess I'll count in. Okay, so we're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, what is True Ending? So Celeste has a Chapter 8 and a Chapter 9 after Summit, Chapter 8 being Core, where we go inside the mountain, and Chapter 9 being the infamous Farewell, or as I like to call it, the Kaizo Celeste level. That is where the full ending of the story lies, so once we reach the top of the summit, we are not going to actually stop. So yeah, there's going to be much more of this game than we sometimes see in other marathons and in other categories. So the first chapter here is the Forsaken City, and this is actually a good time to talk about speed tech because it's actually a very quick chapter. So you're going to see Layla do a lot of these, a lot of advanced tech, such as like right here, an extended hyper dash and wall bouncing off of the walls. An extended hyper is essentially a move where it's a dash cancel. You have a dash, a climb, and a jump in this game. And we can actually get more speed or more height and more distance off of a super dash or a hyper dash, dependent on when we cancel the dash and in what positioning we have Madeline when we do the dash cancel. So you're going to see her bounce off of the walls a bunch, and you're going to see her glide around the floor a bunch, and it's just to get a lot of speed, a lot of distance, and get through the city as fast as possible. Right there, it's called a wave dash, and that's where you kind of bounce off the ground,
Shoutouts to Super
get a little
Special
height and distance. And I really hope that you liked this chapter because we're actually almost done with it. This is a very commonly a very common level that people run individually, super quick, and we're done.
Yep, that level, blink and you'll miss it. There are definitely much longer and much more unforgiving chapters later on. So right
Absolutely.
here, in Core, there are these collectibles in the game called Crystal Hearts, and we need 4 of them that are hidden throughout the levels to be able to unlock Core. So normally there's a specific route that runners take that is most optimal, but I will be running a slightly modified version that will get me the 4 hearts necessary and is probably one of the second fastest versions.
Yeah, so exactly what she said. Core has a heart gate that blocks you from basically the entirety of the level outside of like the first couple cutscenes. And there is an optimal way to do it. Most often you will see some runners go for the Chapter 2 heart, the Chapter 3 heart, the Chapter 4 heart, and the B side of Chapter 5. It is technically more optimal to actually skip the Chapter 2 heart and go into the B side of Chapter 6. However, in order for that to be extremely optimal, you would need to run the B side of Chapter 6 within a minute of your best 6A time, and since 6B is a very punishing level, it's all about your comfortability.
Yeah, it's generally not worth it, because you have to play almost perfect is not really the right word for it, but you have to play incredibly consistently to be able to save time at all with it. It saves a lot more time in categories where you need a heart, but still, either way, it's very hard to save time with.
So here we have this girl with purple hair following us about 2 seconds after us. That is the part of us, or as we like to call her in the community, Battlein'. She will be chasing after us up until right about now. A little 2-second delay where she basically copies every move that you do. So there's a lot of momentum and a lot of movement that you want to be very careful of, that you don't backtrack enough that she ends up hitting you and causing a death. But Layla's good, and she got through it no problem.
Okay, so this 2A is pretty good so far, and also we have the hardest part of the game right here.
Yes. Awake is the hardest part of the game, and you cannot change my mind. There are actually no obstacles in here.
That's what makes it so hard.
Exactly. It makes it so hard. The fastest, is it 11 seconds or so? That's the fastest, like, awake time?
But that requires, like, basically, essentially it's a strat that humans do that is a variation of the Taz, tool-assisted speedrun. Since we can't play like Taz's, we do an incredibly precise dash to gain a lot of speed and chain momentum so we can save 2 seconds.
Exactly. So we are now on to the Celestial Resort. In game, we find our way inside this resort, and we try to find a way out of it. And because we're very good speedsters, we are going to find our way out of it.
We go fast.
We go fast. We get out of here lickety-split. I actually think this is a good time for donations, because a lot of the very interesting stuff will happen in the next subchapter.
Oh, also, sorry, just real quick. Can we explain cycles real quick?
Oh, actually, yeah, good point. So you're going to notice in here these little red meatballs that are also known as dust bunnies.
I love that.
They act on cycles, and if you die on a screen like Layla just did there, basically what happens is they act on a separate cycle than the one that you originally entered the room with. So it's actually a very important aspect of our speedrunning to know not only what cycle they're going to be when we first enter the room, but in the off chance that we die, what the cycle is going to be the next time around. There are some rooms where you can reset by going back into the previous room, but that's only if you have access to actually get into the previous room. So you're going to see a lot of that going on in this chapter in many, many screens.
So now would probably be a good time for donations.
Sure, thank you. So we are Oz Speedruns. We're a group that does speedrun events to raise money for charity, and for this event we're raising money for the Royal Flying Doctor Service, who provide emergency medical and primary healthcare services to anyone who lives, works or travels in rural and remote Australia. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com, and I do want to remind everyone there is still an incentive open for this Celeste run, and I think we're good to take donations towards that incentive right up until the end of chapter 8.
Basically, no, it'll be more so, like, I think we could probably go until basically the end of the chapter just before it's necessary, but if
Sure, so
be.
yeah, I mean, we've got about an hour, so look, it's perfectly reachable. You know, if everyone would like and is able to provide a little bit towards the Royal Flying Doctor Service, we would greatly appreciate your donations. Thank you.
And the Moonberry is a very fun room, so it'd be it's going to be some good content.
If you would like to see me suffer, then donate.
It's not that bad, but it is very entertaining. So you're going to see Layla take this alternative pathway back through this towel section. There is a heart close by. The reason why she's backtracking, if you actually exit a section, then it closes off behind you afterwards. So this is the only time that we can actually get the heart. So what you're going to see here, she's going to leave, come back, get the heart. And then once she retries, she's going to warp up into this book section. The game does not actually recognize entering that room from the left side as a valid entrance. So when you retry with a death, it gets very confused and it warps you to the top of that section of books, which saves going back into the main hub room and also saves us talking to Mr. Oshiro.
Worth noting there, I instead retried that room after I got the heart. Normally, because we don't really care about real time in the speedrun, normally we save and quit because that saves some time IGT in game time. But just because we're not focusing on game time here, I opted
Correct.
to retry.
Yes, it just is easier for RTA to not exit out of the screen. So coming up is going to be a little technique called the Demo Dash, named after a Celeste speedrunner, Demo Jameson. We are going to drop Madeline's hitbox to only a few less pixels and find our way through this wall of dust bunnies. It is a very precise trick, but second try is really, really good. There is just a small section in that wall where if you're able to crouch and dash within 4 frames of each other, you can get through a lot of places that you would otherwise not be able to get through. That is one of those places. On PC, we have the luxury of being able to bind both left and, I believe both left and down.
Basically, you can either bind dash and down to the same key, or bind down so you can press your primary dash button. It's a little bit complicated, but it makes it, basically, instead of doing demo dashes manually, it makes it a lot easier to do it than if you were on console. Cough, cough, carry.
that is a call-out post to me. I am a console runner. I do demo dashes manually, so I am not as aware of the intricacies of how to do it on PC as people like Layla. So Mr. Oshiro has been chasing us throughout this entire section. There are points where you can plop him on his head to, save yourself and get through.
Oh my god.
Oh
no. My
no.
god. Oh, I played it so safe there and almost just bite it, but
this is the scariest part of any particular speedrun, because I think Oshiro is a very easy run resetter.
It really is. That room, I've been messing up the entry cycle for that, and it's not particularly kind whenever you do it on death cycle, so thankfully I got it like second or third try.
So we're in Golden Ridge, and Golden Ridge has a couple of new mechanics. We have wind, we have bubbles, we have clouds, we have a lot of very fun aspects to this, and it does give us the opportunity to do a lot of really fun movement, and there's going to be some really fun tricks coming up. But start's pretty simple, so if you have a couple of donations, we can probably read a few off.
Sure,
Sorry.
We actually have a donation from the previous runner. Nikosar donates $109.76 and says, "Good
Wow.
luck to Ukulele. Please put this donation towards the Moonberry incentive."
Oh god.
So it's not going to get us all of the way there, but hey chat, if you would like to get us the rest of the way,
You guys really like to see me suffer, don't you?
there's actually not that much left. It'd be about $40. I'm just going to add this to the spreadsheet so we get that
God.
update.
Nice. So what Layla is trying to do and successfully accomplished is called Fast Heart. There is a block down there that is a call out to Super Mario Brothers 3. If you crouch on it for a bit, you fall behind the block and are able to climb the background to get to the heart. But with the appropriate positioning and wall bounce and corner kick, you can get the heart and save 4 seconds off of that strat. And
No, let's go!
Yes, that is so good. So that strat is called First Blockless, and it saves only a second and a half over non-all red berries speedruns. But what she did there was she popped herself in this little corner and reset her sub-pixels. Sub-pixels is a positioning that's less than a pixel that you would not be able to see on the game.
It's so complicated, you only really need to worry about it if you're a Tazza.
But basically, she reset it in such a way that there wouldn't be anything that affects that final corner kick at the end. But it is a very difficult strat that involves things such as a ceiling pop, which we really don't use very much in speedruns at all.
That is the only time.
And here, you can skip that key coin by just doing a very nice ultra off of the auto scroller. And with a crouch state, just jump over that block. and save a couple seconds.
You can save like 6 seconds if you by skipping that block with a sub-pixel precise trick that I wish I could do consistently because it's just so cool. But
that room is just constantly being updated with new strats, and it's quite impressive. So we're now in Cliff Face. Cliff Face also adds another mechanic that is otherwise not seen in the game, and it's snowballs. And these snowballs are getting thrown at us, but we are just gonna speed right through them.
Worth noting, who's throwing the snowballs?
That is a good question. That is never answered in canon. Who throws the snowballs?
Like, or just how they're made. It could be just like they're rolling up into balls, but physics.
Honestly, I choose to believe it's Theo just messing with us since he's by the gondola at the end.
Yeah,
he's a little prankster.
Just for a little bit, we probably have some time for donations, if anything, because there's not much going on in this chapter for the start.
Hello? Okay, my mic cut out for a second. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
So, Layla, I unfortunately missed what you said there.
I was talking to Ali, just like saying that we probably have some time for donations, just because this start of this chapter is pretty tame.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So no donations quite yet, but that Moonberry incentive is quite close once I have updated the spreadsheet and remember how to do maths. It will probably have about $40 left to go, and we've got quite a bit of time to hit it.
Don't worry, I don't know how to do maths either.
I know, right?
It's the weekend for y'all. You don't need to do math on the weekend. It's fine. So we're going to be taking advantage down the road of a little oversight in the game where going to the B side. What?
But first,
Oh, first we have to do this.
Yeet!
Nice!
Ah, I missed it, but...
That's good enough. So that's called Depth's Corner Boost. Depths being the name of the subchapter that we're currently in. And what she just did there was a reverse hyper off of that little block, and it basically doubled her speed. And with the appropriate bunny hop off of a platform, and then with really good positioning, a corner boost.
Pause buffering.
Yeah, she was basically almost able to completely skip the following screen. It is very hard to do, and I'm honestly very impressed that it almost went through the entire way. Even if you get a fair amount of the speed and the distance, it's total time save over just taking the room casually.
So now we have hell coming up.
It's fine. It's called 5B, and it's fine.
5 bad.
So there was a small oversight in the creation of this game where if you complete the B side to the appropriate chapter's A side, you still progress to the next chapter. And the devs decided, you know what, that's fine, we'll keep that. So there are situations like in the sense of 5B where if you're able to beat it in less time than you're able to complete the rest of the corresponding A side, you actually save time in a speedrun. That's okay.
That's a shame.
So we're going to be doing that. What she's trying to do there is a technique called Bub's Drop, named after the Celeste speedrunner Bub-Bye. There is a 2-frame window there where she's trying to kick off the wall.
Bye-bye.
Like that. And what it does is it does not give you enough height in order to reach that platform. And instead you fall back down into the previous room. Celeste does not recognize falling back into that room as a potential possibility, so when you retry and take the death, it spawns you at the closest entrance, which just so happens to be the right side of the screen where we need to be. And it saves approximately 20 to 30 seconds over actually taking that intended route.
Depending on who you ask. But
depending on who you ask. But it is a lot of time, and one of the biggest time saves in most Celeste speedruns.
If you, like... I was about to say... What was I saying? I just blanked. Forget what I said. Go on.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry. It works on the same mechanic that the 3A Heart Warp does. Damn it!
Yes. It's the same idea as the 3A Heart. Basically, it does not recognize that you should be entering that room from that way, and it's just like, all right, I'm going to spawn you here, and that ends up being the place that we need to be. In this section, which we call, well, we don't call it, it's called that, called Through the Mirror, we're going to be bopping a lot of these Seekers. These Seekers are going to help us progress, and in some situations are going to help us collect a couple of key coins that will help us progress to the next screen. With the right boost off of this particular Seeker, we can actually skip breaking any of those pillars and move on to the final section called Mixed Master, named after the one and only Mixed Master Theo, who is trapped in this wonderful crystal.
Honestly, with the advent of Chapter 5, I'm not sure whether Theo is the community's most favorite or least favorite character.
I think he's a good boy, and I think that also doing a lot of tech with him is very hard.
So
that was the...
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, that was the gauntlet room. The 4 rooms, one after another, with the appropriate Seekers and buttons to open up doors. It is an extremely hard room because if you die on any one of those rooms, it just starts you off at the beginning of the gauntlet. So you want to make sure that your movement is crisp and that your strats are safe. And this is our heart room, where we will complete the chapter.
Not a bad 5B.
Not at all.
Despite missing Bub's drop and having some oopsies, I'd say that is a very solid run.
That is a very solid run. I would never take that away from you. All right. We are gaming. Gaming. So now we're in Reflection, Chapter 6.
Which Carrie does not like.
Hey. So Chapter 6 is a fairly tame one by comparison. We're going to go through it as intended. But there are a couple of fun strats along the way. This chapter I find to be mostly optimizing movement. Right here, you're going to see Layla try to attempt Lake Skip, where there's a couple of pixels right underneath these spinners, or spikes, depending on how familiar you are with Celeste terminology or not. And it's going to cause her to wall bounce out of this room.
There we go.
And skip hitting the Kevin block.
That is, it saves about 5 seconds if you get it first try. I unfortunately did not, but it is a very difficult and hard trick, so
it is totally worth showing off.
For sure.
Absolutely.
It's
Allie,
good that
if we have...
Go
ahead.
It's good that I got it at all, I was about to say.
It can be a very precise trick. There is some positioning that needs to be involved with it, and still, because of the amount of pixels you have to bounce off of, the timing is very important. I was going to say, this is a pretty tame chapter.
Yeah, we have a lot of time for donations.
Yes, if we have any new donations, now is a very good chapter to do some.
Cool. We have I believe we've just hit the incentive because I was about to say that we had $45 left to go, but thank you, KO, for your $55.20 donation. KO. I want to see that moonberry, KO says. Good luck, Layla, and thanks, ASM, for your great work. So, yes, we are going to see... Thank you, everyone, for your donations.
KO is a very good friend of mine who said that he was going to donate $50 to the Moonberry donation incentive, and I hope that he had already done it. But
surprise! We
what
love
are friends
that.
for if not to torture us?
Yeah.
Right? Gotta give us a good old-fashioned rib. So, this is basically 6A is quite tame, but they did introduce a couple of new things that I did not mention earlier. One of them being feathers. Feathers are a mechanic.
They sure are.
They will help us get through a lot of rooms, but depending on if you're a keyboard player or an analog player, or even a D-pad player, your love of them as a mechanic will be different. They also introduced bumpers and Kevin blocks. We named Kevin blocks after the sound designer for the game, Kevin.
Oh yeah, those sounds that those blocks that I hit, Madeline hits, like those sounds that they make are actually the lead sound designer for the game just warbling underwater.
Yes, there's a very good clip of him just dipping his head in a bucket of water and just blurbling into it.
I've not actually seen that video. I need to see it.
It's a very good video.
I only know that, like, the source material.
It's a very good one. There was a screen in the past, and you will probably see it on a couple of other things, and a couple of things that she's actually done in some other chapters, where she got a lot of distance off of the bumper, and that's because if you're able to point, I believe it's if you point your like analog stick or direction after getting bounce off of an enemy, you get a little bit of an extra speed boost off of them, and are able to cover longer distances.
I think it's that's only a mechanic that is present with bumpers and a later mechanic in Chapter 9.
Ooh, Chapter 9, being mysterious. I like it.
But basically, just explaining what you just saw, I just flung myself into Battle-In, and that is a strat that we speedrunners like to call the Battle-In boost. Essentially, it's using the a Hyper Bunny Hop on that Kevin block to be able to get a ton of speed to just throw ourselves into Battle-In's embracing arms.
Yes,
There's
we're
no
just
way.
We're just trying to give her a hug.
There's no way that she would try to kill us, you know?
No, surely not. So yes, basically when you're on a moving block like that, as I had mentioned earlier, when you do a speed tech on one of those,
Casual feather skip.
something like a Kevin block, nice featherless.
Shout out to Zcad.
You,
I got the setup.
Zcad.
I got the setup for that from him.
If you're able to do some speed tech on a moving platform, you get a big speed boost. So in the right timing, doing a hyper dash into a small little bunny hop makes you cover a very large amount of distance. And if you skip your cutscene at the right time, you can continue that momentum into hitting battle, and it saves just like a little bit of time. Well, the actual Battle-In boost saves a lot of time, but the skip cutscene optimally saves just a little bit of extra time. It's still very impressive.
Yeah, you probably heard me counting there. It's basically just using visual cues to determine when I'm actually going to do it. It's different for everyone, so like some people might sort of like use audio clues or something like the distance between when like Battlin's hair moves back. But it's different for everyone. It works the exact same way, but different people have different ways of determining when to do it.
So we're actually finishing up our fight in the last couple of screens.
Oh yeah, did you like Battle-In? Because she's gone.
Yeah, she's going to be very gone. Well, she's not going to be quite gone. She's going to be with us in the next chapter. Then this very long screen.
We don't like the screen.
This screen is hard.
But yeah, I was trying to say before, but I was English bad. Yeah, I don't think, like, even analog players like feathers. No, wow.
Oh no! Well, thank God it just set you up right there.
Yeah, nobody really likes feathers. But right now we have, if I could not be bad, we have 2 dashes right now. That is because Battle-In has, Battle-In being the embodiment of Madeline's anxieties climbing the mountain, she and Madeline reconciled their differences and combined into one super line.
Super line?
Hell yeah. This essentially allows Madeline to have a second air dash when normally she would only be able to use one dash in midair and be able to, before needing to touch a dash crystal or the ground to replenish it. So now we have Summit, which is a level.
If you hug your friends, you can fly, is basically what this game is teaching you. So Summit is in fact a level. It is essentially its own kind of game. It's a love letter, as I like to put it, to the entire game. There's going to be...
Wow, sort of patting the game on its own back, isn't it?
Right? There's going to be 6 sections, if I'm not mistaken, and they're all based around aspects of... No, not 6 sections.
There's 6 sections that are sort of like homages to the past levels that you've done. This sort of being like the chapter 6 section, because when Madeline got thrown down to the chapter 6, she got thrown down literally underground. So it's sort of
Yes.
just like a climbing the mountain again, and it's a great level. It's actually got some quite good movement. I like it when it likes me, but basically it's just a very difficult speedrun. It's very long and very punishing.
But it's also a very good representation of what this game teaches you as a whole, which is like, you can do it.
Yeah, I think
Good
the lead director of the game, Maddie Thorson, at one GDQ event said that it's sort of like a final exam, seeing if you remember how all of these mechanics work.
That's a good way of putting it. Every section in this summit is basically utilizing the aesthetics and a lot of the mechanics of the chapters that we have been through before. So now we're in the section that would best represent Old Site. Layla's going to go through all of these dream blocks. There's going to be a lot of like really fun movement. She's going to do this technique called a dream hyper. When you exit these blocks, there's a few frames in which the game thinks or acts as if you are on solid ground. And if you're able to input a hyper dash during those frames, you can actually just do a hyper dash out of it and get a little extra distance.
Basically, like this screen is one of the best demonstrations of that.
Yes. You do need to be careful because if you don't get it on those,
Oh,
you're
that's
essentially...
never happened to me.
Oh no, you said the thing. If you don't input it at the right time, it can basically just be done as a diagonal input and can cause a couple of unfortunate deaths.
Very. Normally it's better to do a demo to do a dream hyper, but I'm stubborn. Also, speaking of demos,
Yes, you can just go through that section right there. I love that. That is such an impressive demo dash.
it's free too.
So while we're in 1500, there's going to be a couple of spots where Layla does something called an ultra, and we have not covered ultras as a speed tech, but when you have a lot of horizontal momentum in this game, if you're able to basically combine a bunch of wave dashes, if you do a jump at the right time upon landing on the ground from a wave dash, you get a 1.2 x speed boost, if I'm not mistaken.
Alan will probably tell you about that.
I'm fine with being corrected, but the idea is that you get a little bit of a speed boost upon inputting your jump correctly. But what you saw in a couple of screens previous was just being able to tie a lot of wave dashes and jumps together to get a lot of horizontal momentum and fly through some screens as if there was nothing in the way.
Which, in a wake, that is basically what you do if you want to be inhuman.
Yes.
Please.
I think if we have any donations, now is a good time to read some off.
Sure, great. There's no donations in right now, but now that we have unlocked the Celeste incentive, I do want to remind everyone about the other upcoming incentives for today. So we do have a costume select bid war for Resident Evil 3. We can unlock the Hunk Run for Resident Evil 2. Or we can get the glitch exhibition for the Simpsons Hit and Run. I think those are all today, and there's a couple more coming up after that. A language select for Legend of Heroes, and a bonus run of Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance.
Oh
no.
That was just unfortunate.
Gives me a little extra time to talk about where your donations will go to. So your donations will go to the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which are a organization that help people in rural and remote areas of Australia to receive medical care. They, both in remote areas and getting them to. They are literally superheroes in their planes. They'll bring them to areas where they can get the attention they need.
Yeah, I think I was tuning into the Days Ex Machina stream run before, and I heard you saying that they literally just fly, and I think that's so cool. So donate, because I want to see more flying doctors.
Yeah, someone ran yesterday. They mentioned, I think Dams, the host, I can't remember, but they're near an area where they literally have runways for the planes to come in. Like,
wow.
The roads are extra wide, just in case the planes need to come through. And so it's a really important part of, I think, our, Australia as, being able to support people in remote areas.
This is just a quick little baby strat because I'm not good at the normal strat. Also this, boing boing. Carrie, if you could please explain that one. Oh. Sorry.
Looks like we might have lost Carrie, but I'm sure she'll be back shortly.
Yeah, in the meantime, I'll probably explain what just happened here. Also, door skip. I'm sorry, could we, like, have an organizer probably move Carrie into the live?
Yep, I'll ping an organizer to do that.
Sorry. But just quickly, what I was asking Carrie to explain just then was a thing called key skip. Basically, there are a few pixels on the bottom of those walls that I wall jumped off of that basically if you line yourself up in the transition, you can just do some wall bounces, or just wall kicks, and end up getting that key early, because normally you'd have to go through a whole underground section. So now we're in 3000, which, yeah. Welcome back, Carrie. Basically, now we're in 3000, which is, which is basically Summit proper. Everything else was sort of an homage to, like, previous chapters, but this checkpoint, is more so just focused on its own unique theme. Right now we have, we have downwind, which makes it so that we fall down faster and get less jump clearance. And next up we'll have upwind, which, is basically the opposite. It makes us more floaty. And it's just using, like, a combination of some mechanics that we've seen previously, mainly, clouds from Chapter 4, and, the reason that we have all these flags scattered around the place is because these rooms, 3,000 meters is made up primarily of 5 rooms, and if you died, like, they're very long, and if you died in one of them, then you'd just be sent back to the beginning. So they have these just tiny little respawn points just scattered around to make it more bite-sized. I'll probably just finish off this checkpoint so Carrie can come in soon. Ooh. Please, thank you. Seems like we're having some technical difficulties. Ali, if there's any more donations that you're able to read out at all.
I don't have any donations right now. Hopefully Kerry will be back shortly. But yeah, meanwhile in the chat, maybe we can get some, some good lucks for Discord and.
What? Okay, that's a new one. There we go. Ah.
Welcome back.
Hello. So one thing with feathers that Carrie somewhat explained previously is that, like, with analog and D-pad and keyboard, essentially you have 360-degree movement with feathers on analog, and not with D-pad or keyboard, so there's somewhat of a disadvantage that keyboard players have over controller players, but basically I misinputted some dashes there because I was on controller, and yeah, analog isn't very fun. I switch between analog and D-pad whenever I'm going from feathers to normal movement. So coming up, we have core. As explained, this is why we were getting all of those crystal hearts throughout the run, because there is a gate that prohibits you from progressing with any of the rest of the level past the first couple like cutscenes. Carrie said, it's this one. So basically, this one single gate is just lost us so much time. But yeah, we have to progress through this section, this level, to be able to get onto Chapter 9, Farewell, which is a whole third of the run. So yeah, what I just did there was called Ice Skip. That normally you'd have to go all the way to the right to be able to turn this whole thing from fire to ice, so that you can progress normally. But because we're speedrunners, we don't need any of those switches. This is another example of death cycles, because this room normally, if I didn't go back through the transition there, then the room would have been on a cycle that I am uncomfortable with, and it honestly would have been much slower. So core kind of just combines a whole thing with not getting your dash back when you reach the ground. Also, hello Carrie, welcome back.
Hello. I have no idea what happened. I am so sorry to everybody,
It's
but
fine.
I am alive and well, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the summit. I wish I could have been there with all of you.
It's fine.
Things happen, you know. The show must go on. I am very glad that you're still gaming. Anyway, what are we up to?
One thing I neglected to mention, well, just forgot primarily, also just this screen.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention before was that, in core, basically, Madeline, doesn't get her dash back when she touches the ground, and that is one of the distinctive, features of this level. So, on top of there being these blocks that fling you, lava rising to chase me, and, fire and ice, essentially, there's, like, we also just have a really annoying mechanic.
So yeah, that is the main mechanic of core, is that your dashes are not refreshed as it typically is in the rest of the game. As Granny likes to put it, there's some magic powers behind this mountain. But core is very fun to optimize because of that, I find. I've actually grown to very much appreciate core from a lot of the other categories I've run for it, because I think it really has you completely look at rooms in a brand new light.
Yeah, it's got some very it's got some very, very unique movement, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I'd say it's a very good chapter. Honestly, I enjoyed a lot, and I hope that there are people in chat and the community who will agree with me. I've got some other friends in the community who back me, but you know, there are some odd ones out.
So this is the final section of core. We're gonna get to we're gonna do a nice little core hyper there to get a lot of distance. And this last screen before the cassette room is just Feather City.
Yay!
We love feathers.
Sure,
Layla,
we sure do.
Layla, this is like this is good.
Thanks, Carrie.
You're so welcome.
I am so good at this game.
You're very good. Yeah, this last room combines a lot of the things with collecting a cassette with rhythm blocks, but they also decided to throw these lava balls and ice balls around, as well as a core block, and you know, fun stuff. We don't actually need to use the cassette, but it's very hard to avoid.
I don't think it's actually possible to avoid it.
No, you actually can skip it. You can skip it. It is very hard.
Oh, wait, I think I saw Oddbod doing it. Okay. Shout out to Oddbod.
Nice.
38.59.999. This is funny.
This is great.
Not a bad pace.
Not a bad pace at all.
So now, coming up, we have Farewell, which has us going to the moon to chase a bird for some reason.
So without spoiling it too much, because we're gonna go through all the cutscenes anyway. Madeline has this desire to chase after the bird that's been squawking at us occasionally throughout the game, because she believes there's I don't want to call it a spiritual meaning,
Some
but
sort of connection between the old woman who has been guiding us and the bird.
Yes. So she's chasing the bird in order to basically find some closure for something, and that apparently leads us into space.
Because that's just the logical explanation for everything, huh?
Yes. Farewell was released last year.
September 9th, 1999, yes. September 9th, 2019. So it's just 9/9/29.
It was a free DLC with the game, and it is by far the hardest chapter in the game.
One of my favorite chapters, though.
It is. Once you learn how to speedrun it, it does become a very fun chapter. As I believe Layla and I can actually quite agree with. But it doesn't make it any. It doesn't make it any less hard. Here we have these fish. These fish will give you. This is the mechanic that Layla was talking about that you can get a boost off of.
Just right there. I am holding away from the holding the direction that it's going to boost you on the frame that it boosts that you come in contact with it actually gives you twice the speed. And that is something that we used with bumpers I attempted to use it in Chapter 8 in the screens that had them, and once or twice in Chapter 6. That is utilized a few times in this chapter, but you will be seeing a lot more than just fish. As right here.
The jellyfish.
Basically just more floaty Theo, as Flair put it.
Yeah, jellyfish basically act as like these nice little parachute friendos. They'll help you get through a lot of spaces. You can actually use them to you can drop from them and then dash into them. Just kind of like that, except you can actually just drop them and do it like that. It's called a jellyvator. And we're actually going to use that to do key skip here. This hub room has 5 keys that we need to get into the next cutscene, but we're not going to do that because that takes time.
We're just taking this jelly across the entire world.
Yeah, we're gonna take this jelly in some places it was not ready.
And then we will cruelly abandon it there. There we go.
Nice! First try.
It doesn't lose that much time if you fail it. Well, it's a lot of time, but if, considering this chapter is a long one, it's pretty insignificant. But basically... Sorry?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, just basically we just abandon the jelly. We've taken it all this way, and then we just throw it aside, and... Yeah, we don't need you.
It'll be fine, I'm sure. The jelly will be fine.
He has a new home now.
So that skip was intended by the devs, and it's a very interesting one for sure. But depending on, as she had said, if you don't quite get it, it's not the biggest time loss, but for speedrunning the level individually, it is.
It's 100% a reset if you miss it in PB attempts or ILs. It's
for sure. Because you have to go back and find a new jellyfish, get the double dash crystal, which is another mechanic in Farewell that is introduced.
Oh yeah, those double dashes that we had at the end of 6A and in 7A and 8A, that wasn't supposed to happen. Basically, Badeline, since she's the worst, as this chapter likes to put it, basically she abandons us so that we don't have our double dash all the time. So we need to rely on those pink crystals that we've been getting throughout the chapter to actually get double dashes, which is required in some parts. Okay, which is required in some parts to traverse the level, like right here.
So the other thing about the fish that's not quite mentioned is that you can, if you bounce off the top of them, you get your dash refreshed, and it's another way to get through a couple of rooms. But you do need to be careful because there's some instances where you don't want to get the boosted by the fish, such as the last screen of the game.
Oh, yeah.
But this was remembered. Remembered is a level.
Sorry, I've just been failing that for a lot, and I'm just glad that I got that there.
I am so proud of you. So now we're in Event Horizon, and that gate requires you to have 15 hearts in order to pass by it.
Which requires almost all B-sides and all B-side hearts and all A-side hearts, might I add. So, yeah, we would probably just like not be doing this run right now if that was required.
Thorson made this game to enjoy all the levels, and you just skipped the gate.
You know what? I can't help it if I'm too much of a gamer.
That's true.
But basically, yeah, that gate was intentionally made to be able to skip. There are so many skips that are just put into this level because this is just like really. If Summit was a love letter to Celeste, then Farewell is a love letter to the community, because as you can see right there, there is a skip that I just didn't do. This is a skip that was put in by the devs, if I can get it, that they just put so many skips just everywhere, because this chapter was, like, put out, was put out after the community had about a year or two to be able to understand the mechanics of this game to its fullest extent. And they're, like, demos, which are normally pixel-perfect tricks, were actually acknowledged and...
Nice save!
They're actually acknowledged and used in some specific rooms that were actually just... They're not required, but they're just speed strats.
Acknowledged.
They were acknowledged and put in there for speedrunners to take advantage of. There's actually one room later on in the worst checkpoint in the game that it actually just is called the demo room. It has you do like 3 demos consecutively.
Correct.
Which aren't pixel perfect, but they're still difficult.
This is for Event Horizon the subchapter which basically says, hey, here's how you can take all the things that we've taught you, and here's how we can combine it, but here's also how you can do it fast.
Yeah, because like
it
right
encourages...
right here we have dream blocks and also this room.
The comb room. But it basically not only tells you like, hey, you're going to need to use this tech that we've taught you to get through the room, but it also tells you, here's how we can tie all of it together and use it to do a lot of really fun, clean, swift movement.
Ooh, that room is scary.
And one of the things that she had actually skipped, they give you a PowerPoint presentation in the middle of this telling you how to wave dash. You know, the thing that we've done over the last 48 minutes.
Woo!
Nice!
That skip is insane. I love it.
That skip is really, really hard to do, but it saves a decent chunk of time.
Ooh. Oh, cutting it way too close to the spikes there. I tried to do a moon boost. Basically, those moon blocks that are just floating in the air, they work in a specific way that if you do a demo hyper off of them, which is basically just a fancy hyper out of a horizontal dash, if you do that, then you can actually get insane speed. I didn't quite get it there. I don't normally go for it. It's not risky at all. I just thought I'd flex, you know, just a little bit.
Gotta try. Gotta try. This is determination.
Not my least favorite checkpoint in the entire game.
I would say that it's a continuation on Event Horizon's
sort of
little thesis that you can say, hey, here's how you can combine all of these mechanics together.
Also,
But
I don't normally go for this demo, but I want to try and show it off. I'll give it 2 more tries. Basically, there's a demo right here that, Hey!
Nice!
That was put there intentionally by the devs, that, it's very hard to do.
Oh no.
While the 3A one that we did was pixel perfect, that one right there was, like, all the demos in this chapter are 8 pixels wide, when Madeline's hitbox is actually 4 pixels tall when crouching, which is what we take advantage of when we demo. Because while we demo, we're basically putting Madeline into a crouching state while she's dashing. So that means that, that means basically that she can fit into spaces that she's not normally supposed to.
So this is an infamous core room of Farewell. Thankfully, we do get our dash refreshed when we bounce on these little buckaroos.
Least favorite room in the entire game.
But the cycle is the cycles are the cycles are very unforgiving sometimes if you're off cycle, especially as you start to speedrun this level. You get a really you get a cycle that you're very comfortable with.
Yeah, I unfortunately messed up the entry cycle, so now we're just going to be spending the next minute here.
If we have a minute, we could probably get some donations in.
Just my thought. Okay. Well, still, we have some time where it's, like, not very exciting, so if there's some donations that you would like to read out, Ali, then you are more than welcome to right now.
Well, I'd like to see some donations come in. Unfortunately, nothing quite yet. So, chat, if you're feeling inclined, please do consider donating towards the Royal Flying Doctor Service. I actually went to their website while we were in between as well, and like you can look up where all their planes are. It's really cool. Yeah, just fun stuff. So, really cool cause if you're able, and there are incentives coming up for the rest of the day and tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali. That screen right there, the community affectionately titles it Windspring. It's not the worst screen in the world, but Golden's, which basically after you complete the game, you get these challenges where golden strawberries appear at the start of levels, and you basically challenge you beating the level deathless. That screen right there, Windspring, is pretty infamous among people who attempt Farewell Goldens.
Oh no.
That's a shame.
I want to point out the room that you were just in. So Layla went into a room and then immediately went back into the previous room, and she did that to reset her spawn point. Because if she had tried to get to the next screen that she was just on, and died, she would have had to start the room back from the left side. The room that she was in on the right side doesn't actually lead anywhere, but it just respawns you in a much more forgiving place, so that you can try and do that that dash without being sent back to the beginning. But for a lot of casual players, I know for me that took a while for me to figure out.
Yeah. Also, shoutouts to Frozen Flagon, Checkpoint Gang. Unfortunately, Frozen Flagon was a very, very good friend of ours who we planned to have commentating the run with us, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it. So, shoutouts to her. I really, we love you, Frozen, and it's just a real shame that you couldn't be here with us today.
I love Frozen. Also, a very good Celeste IL runner in her own right.
She's like one of the best. Like, she's an incredibly good runner, and she has done farewell to hell and back.
She really has. So this is Stubbornness, and it's basically the rhythm section of Farewell. If you can hear the background, there's this little metronome in the back, and the blocks will light up and go away based on that. Some rooms are a bit of a different rhythm, different cycle. But it's a global cycle, so it's always continuing as you go from one screen to the other. So what you're seeing is Layla do a lot of down dashes, waiting for a good point to go, And basically because this is on a global cycle, doing a down dash actually freezes the in-game timer for like 4 frames every time.
4 frames.
4 frames every time. Even better.
So it saves. Someone do the math. 17 times 4
is 68.
So it saves 0.68 every single time you do a down dash in one of these rooms. So yeah, thanks Carrie for the maths. Let's go.
Anytime.
Okay.
And now we're in Reconciliation, the second to
yes.
last sub-chapter here, and this is just Speed Tech City.
If I could ask, could we have just some silence, just so we could show off the music?
Music's really good. Get it, Layla? Nice save.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ah! That's a shame.
Oh no.
That's gonna this room is very heavily cycle based, so that's really gonna put us in a bad cycle.
Yeah, it's okay though. There is an entry cycle that is very comfortable. If you're able to get it, it's basically equivalent to throwing that jellyfish up and just holding left or holding right. And if you fail that, it's quite a difference in time to being on death cycle.
It's very noticeable. It's honestly, if you die here, you're losing a lot of time. So it's a big shame that I actually died there. Oh well.
All good. You're doing great. You're doing so well. It's been a very clean reconciliation up to this point.
It's a shame.
Nice. Oh, this room is so hard.
Yeah, there's a bit of a scary dash that you can do here just to save some time.
Yeah, this room is very
3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay.
nice. That is a terrifying strat, and I'm so glad you got that first
It's
try.
really it's really not that hard, but it's so scary. It's like, what if you mess up?
Whenever I do it, it feels like it's always a guaranteed death, even though it's not. So we're actually just a couple of screens left into the final
No.
sub-chapter. which is appropriately called Farewell, the farewell of Farewell. All you need to know about that screen is that Maddie Thorson tweeted not too long after Farewell's release saying, "Oh yeah, sorry about that last screen."
I never knew that.
Yes, they apologized for that screen.
Oh, I love them.
Yep, this is the second to last screen before Farewell.
And I'll just say, don't blink.
We're gonna take these jellyfish across some ways.
This jelly specifically.
Yes, this jelly specifically. It is not uncommon for casual players their first time through to take multiple hours with this chapter, and this room is, I believe, quite easily the biggest culprit of that. I know it was for me.
Same. I spent about 7 hours on Farewell first time.
It took me a lot. Also, yes, because of everyone's wonderful donations, we're not going to just stop and go right to the end. We're actually going to collect a berry, a very special berry along the way, and you get to see just a really fun way of using level design. And we're going to go find the moonberry.
Thank you, KO. What are friends for?
We love friends here.
Okay.
Remember, strawberries will impress your friends. Moonberries will impress everybody.
Hell yeah. Okay, so normally right here we'd go do 2 down dashes here and take the bird, but here we go.
So Layla has to be really careful here, because there's still no checkpoint spawned yet. So there will be eventually, but right now we have to be very careful not to die on the way up, because it would start us back at the beginning of the Farewell subchapter, not the start of the level.
Hello, Jelly. Bye, Jelly.
Bye, Jelly. And she's there. So this is the checkpoint.
So the reason so one thing that we haven't mentioned yet, these moon blocks, as the community likes to call them, they bob up and down because gravity on a cycle that actually is dependent. It's actually from the moment you retry, and also let's go Buzzsaw.
Let's go.
But basically the reason I retried there is because I was going for a skip that just skips a little bit of that one section. Thanks, we're probably going to be here for a little while. But basically it's just retrying there puts the cycle just right for me, and it's slower to retry, but it's just that screen is literally 2 minutes long, so I think it's just worth it to do that. Time is coming up in a little bit.
Yes, this screen is just teaching us a little bit about how to jelly Vader if you've already forgotten. We're gonna take this jelly always.
Oh yeah, this is the only jelly we get in this room. I never thought about that.
Yep, it's the only one.
Yeah, this is gonna take a while.
All good. If the game was easy, it wouldn't be Celeste.
Yeah, it would be some other game, like Melvin.
If you do want to get some donations in, maybe show the runner your support, or send some nice words along.
Yeah.
Now seems like a good time, and I have one donation to read out.
Sure, go for it.
No comment other than just someone contributing towards the Simpsons Hidden Run Glitch exhibition, but that's $54.77, and we really appreciate that from Traiths. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The great thing about the Moonberry is that it recognizes your accomplishment once you collect it, which we'll point out once we get there. But time will not be on the collection of the Moonberry because technically we still have to take battle into the final cutscene. So.
I'll try to make it on collection. Basically, you can carry berries with you like as far as you can, as long as you don't touch the ground. And
That's
if
true.
I don't touch the battle orb that exits the level, that's unfortunate. If I don't touch the battle orb that exits the level, then I can just take the Moonberry until time. This one's difficult. I'm sorry.
I remember doing this room casually when somebody first told me that the Moonberry existed, and I'm pretty sure the first time around the screen probably took me upwards of 2 hours.
I'd have to say same. One time I accidentally returned to map when I was doing Moonberry, and I was just, oh no, so I had to go all the way back to Farewell again. And this was before I was a speedrunner. Well, I was still a speedrunner, but like, this was when I was still Babby. Oh.
Oh, please don't scare me like that.
Oh! Damn it! Oh, that's a shame. Oh, okay.
Just breathe.
Okay. That doesn't quite work. This isn't the kindest jelly bait.
There you go.
Also, fun fact, can we mention the golden room? Like, it's not gonna come into relevancy here, but I just think, like, a fun fact to mention, you know, the devs were a bit sadistic. Okay, okay.
Nice.
Okay, this should be it.
Chat, get your wows ready.
Get your wows ready! And... time!
Time.
Wow!
Wow.
Woo! Okay. That... Everyone, thank you so much for watching. That right there was Celeste True Ending.
It is a very, very good category to run. I find it gives you a very good appreciation of every single, every A side that's provided, as well as Farewell. And you get to see the lovely story as it plays along. So I used to run this category for a bit, and I really, really enjoyed it.
And she has a better PB than me, which I'm hopefully gonna
we're
come
the
for soon.
same. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a competition.
Yeah, no.
But no, this category is very, very good. And if you ever have any interest in running Celeste, we have an official Discord, and we're very welcoming to new runners, and are always helpful to people trying to learn the roots and learn the basics. And yeah, Layla, thanks for having me with you for this. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate it.
Genuinely, it wouldn't have been the same without you. And I'm just honestly, it's a real shame that we couldn't have Frozen Flag on with us here, but you know, that's what can you do. But that was Celeste True Ending in 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 50 seconds. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support, and thank you guys so much for all of the contributions to the Royal Flying Doctors Association. It every single cent goes a long way, and I really hope that. I really wish the runners that are up later best of luck. So I think
Yes.
that's all that we have to say here.
Best of luck, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Have a wonderful day.